Have you ever heard the phrase, in a world full of roses, be a sunflower? This is just a way to encourage us to be our unique, beautiful selves. Well, today, in a world full of watercolored root vegetables, we will finish this statement in several different ways today as we embrace learning how to be different and how to add value to the Etsy marketplace so we can get noticed by those potential Etsy customers, get them to stop scrolling through all of the search results that are popping up on their screen and earn their clicking into our listing. While I do want you to be unique with your designs, it is worth mentioning here the caveat to this. So in your personal life, I hope you are as uniquely you, as beautifully possible, that you march to the beat of your own drum, and you feel oh so comfortable in your own skin. When you are designing for Etsy, I want you to be unique while still within the parameters of what we see the market responding to and what we see in our market research. And don't worry if you're thinking to yourself, I need an example, Shawna, what do you mean by this? We are going to use this listing here as our inspiration, and we are going to do just that with this listing. The reason I chose to work with the garden niche today is because when I went to Etsy and put garden shirt in, I went ahead and filtered by star seller, and then I was able to change the word star to best in the search bar, bringing all the best sellers to the front. You're going to notice in the top left corner of just listing after listing, either a popular now badge or a bestseller badge. This is telling me that this niche is very in demand, and there have been a lot of people making money in this niche. And right now, because there's a ton of popular nows right now. So we're going to see a bunch of these on the first page. And then to just bring our research a little further and expand it out a little more, we can look back a couple of pages. I'm going to go ahead and skip all the way to page 4. And we're still going to see that we've got lots and lots of popular nows and best sellers. So lots of space to sell in this niche. And really, I should say, not lots of space to sell in this niche, but lots of demand in this niche, meaning so many customers coming to Etsy and typing in something related to gardening or planting and buying shirts and buying them right now. That niche is really hot, and there's a lot of customers looking for products like that. Usually when I begin working in a particular niche, I choose a listing as my inspiration. I'm going to show you why I chose this phrase and this root vegetable idea to be the one I'm going to focus on. And I don't just do a design and throw it out there. I'll take this phrase or this concept and I'll do 8, 9, 10, maybe even 15 designs if I've got enough ideas before I move on to another idea to focus on within that niche. I'm using a tool called Everbee to pull the stats on this particular listing, the one I just had up there on the sand-colored shirt with the root vegetables. And this is why I chose to focus here. I see that from these stats, they are selling estimated 125 sales every single month. Estimated monthly revenue that the shop is making on this shirt is $2,624, and they've sold this 3,066 times over the last 24 months. Again, I was using Everbee there. That is a paid tool, and I do have the paid version of it. There's also a free version of it that you could try out for a month for free. If those stats look interesting to you and you want to vet out ideas that you're thinking about spending your time working on, I will leave a link to them linked down in the description below. What I'm not looking to do here is to recreate that best-selling design. I am looking to add something new and valuable to the market. The reason I don't want to recreate what's already working is for a couple of reasons. One, it's not an ethical way to build your business. It's not a nice thing to do. But secondly, it's also a waste of time. You need to add something new to the market. If someone already has a bestseller, it already has social proof, which means lots of reviews with people saying how much they love the product, how the shipping was fast, how the customer service is wonderful. And that listing already has rank. It has been ranked to the top. By the time they'd ever find your listing, they've already passed the bestsellers. They would have purchased it at that time when they looked at the best-selling one that's going to rank way higher than yours and be super duper much higher in search results than yours. So the goal here is to catch the people that are interested in this idea, or maybe they already have that shirt, but that design didn't quite catch them. That's not quite what they wanted. It needs to be something new and valuable to the market. So it stands out when someone is searching through their search results. But we are walking a fine line here, because while we want to add something new and valuable to the market, we don't want to just go make up stuff willy-nilly and just throw all the noodles at the wall and see if we can get something to stick. We want our designs to be rooted in market research. We want to make sure that we are making designs that the market was showing, hey, we like this stuff, we can't get enough of it. We want more options with maybe that phrase, or maybe that look, or that vibe, or that concept. We want to build our designs from this knowledge that we are gaining as we're looking at the market research here, which just means as we're looking at bestsellers and we're looking at designs that are doing well. When we base our designs on market research, I call these sticky noodle listings, because we are making them nice and sticky. They have a better chance of sticking and actually making sales for us. Not that they'll always make sales, they certainly won't. Not every listing you make is going to have sales, is going to make sales, even though you're following the market research. But you'll have a much better chance of making sales with those listings that you did pay attention to the market research with. All right, we need to fill in our statement from earlier. In a world full of watercolored root vegetables, be a wildflower. We're going to jump on Kittl, and I'll show you the first way I would try to add value to the market with this concept. On Kittl, I've started a new project, and I'm going to go to POD presets, so it'll automatically set the width and the height for me. I can go right down here, and I can fulfill through Printify, and just click this button here, and then the width and the height are automatically set to the best settings, and the DPI as well, to fulfill through Printify. Now that we're over here in Kittl, I've got my artboard here. It's huge, so I'm just going to use my two fingers to pinch them. I'm pulling my two fingers together on my mouse pad to get the artboard the right size for me. And of course, everything we're doing is rooted in market research. So the places where I'm getting my market research for the design we're going to put together right now, we've got this bestseller right here. It's actually popular now, and we've got just these wildflowers with the stems. This is very popular. This is one of many bestsellers I saw like this. And then in the grandma niche, Grandma's Garden, this is very popular. It's basically with like birth flowers, and they write the names at the bottom of these particular flowers. So we're going to take our inspiration from that as well. And we also see here in this PNG or SVG listing on Etsy, it's also a bestseller for the birth month flowers also. So that is to say, we're taking the phrase, the original phrase from that listing that we know is just killing it, and now we're going to mix in some ideas that we're seeing in this just overall look with the wildflowers, and then with the Grandma's Garden wildflowers with the words coming out of the bottom of the stem. Kind of looks like roots, where the roots would be. We're going to zoom right over to Creative Fabrica, which is my favorite spot to get clip art, and we're going to get our wildflowers there. I will leave whatever I use or show during this video that I got from Creative Fabrica. I'll leave links to those down below in case you wanted to get the same bundle. I do not suggest you recreate anything I'm showing, because you're not going to stand out in the market. A number of people will do that. But if you do want access to those bundles and you don't want to search for them, I'll leave them down below. If you don't have access to Creative Fabrica yet and you would like to, you will get a discount with a code that I'll leave down in the description as well. Then we're going to head over to Kittl and we'll put our designs together. I'm just going to drag and drop what I download from Creative Fabrica right into Kittl. I could drag and drop it right onto my artboard, or I could drag and drop it into the uploads section. Super easy to get it in there, and then I can use it to design. Kittl is the design app I'm using, and I'll also have a link to Kittl down below, and you will get a little discount when you use that code if you are interested in using Kittl to make your designs. And I almost forgot to mention, you'll want to check uspto.gov to make sure you are not working with a phrase that has been trademarked. If it's been trademarked, you will not be able to focus on that phrase. So for example, before using this phrase, let's root for each other, you'd want to go to uspto.gov and double check that. Here we are in Kittl. You'll see I dragged and dropped our inspiration photo here right in the corner. We're going for this kind of look, but with our, kind of in our niche. This isn't quite the same niche. This is grandma's niche. But again, those wildflowers are selling well across many niches. This is just how it's selling really well in the grandma niche, where they're placing the names of the different kids underneath the flowers. I am also going to be mindful that I saw a lot of bestsellers on the sand-colored shirt and on this type of green. A different color, a couple different shades of green, but I think I'm going to mock this up and have my main mock-up image be on the green, so I want to make sure that mine looks good on green. I already have our flowers that I got from Fabrica dropped in here, and I want to kind of just place them here so that they look well spaced, and we're going to need 5 of them. Let's root for each other. Yes, we need 5. And I'm just going to play with this a little bit. And I want to make sure I want it to be colorful. So I want to make sure I pick different colors. I might have to change some of this around a little bit. I think I like this pink a little bit better. And I feel like that shape is going to help me, because it's kind of longer. I need to scoot these together a little bit. I want it to kind of look, I'm thinking about how the words are going to look when they're placed underneath. I want them to look spaced evenly. So I'm kind of looking at the stems there. And let's try this one. And we're just going to move them around a little bit until we think that we've got it in a kind of spaced in a way. I'm looking at the bottoms of the stems and they're looking kind of even. We'll know for sure when we get the text boxes down there, and we might need to move things around and make some other changes, but I think this is getting us set up kind of with a good start. I'm now trying to make it so that all my stems are kind of lined up evenly there at the bottom so that they can have the words kind of visually starting from the same spot. And you'll see what I mean in a minute when we start putting our text down there. All right, I think I'm happy with that. So now I'm going over to that third icon, the text icon, and I'm just going to drag it, so it's big enough for me to work with it here. And we're going to put let's, and we need this to be cursive. That is the look everyone's using in the grandma niche, and it kind of gives it a more of a, root, growing from the root kind of look, which is kind of important here. That's the concept we're trying to go for. I don't want to use something like this. You want to use something that's very legible. We want to make sure that the reader is really able to read this very quickly from the thumbnail. So some of these are just way too flowery or too thin looking. This one, I think, might be okay. I'm kind of just looking back at this other one. Yeah, they've got a pretty neat looking cursive there. I feel like mine's pretty neat looking, and it still kind of captures this look of being, the root growing down into the ground. So I just turned it on its side so it can look like that, and now I copied it. I just pressed Command C, Command V, so I don't have to go through the rigmarole of choosing the font again and all of that, and I could just change my word. Let's root. This is definitely going to look squished next to let's, so we'll have to play with that in a second. But we'll go ahead and get the next one set up. So let's root 4. And I can see this root is just too far over. Let's see. And this is just a matter of playing with it for a minute until you get it to kind of make sense. We might have to change the flower. So we'll move these around just a little bit. I'm looking for something maybe a little longer, a little thinner. Or maybe we move the words out a bit and see. Oh, maybe this big purple flower can kind of go where root is now. Yeah, that works. What do you guys think? I'm thinking that looks good. Let's root 4. Now we're looking pretty spaced out, and it looks like I'll be able to space out the rest of it pretty well. Let's root 4. Almost got it. I think this part of the process is fun. It's, once I have an idea, it's fun for me to work it out, usually, unless I kind of get stuck on the design ideas and I can't figure out a way to work it out quickly. This part gets kind of fun for me as I start seeing the idea come to life. So let's root 4 each. Again, I'm just doing Command Copy, Command V for Command Paste to make it a little faster so I don't have to reselect the font and all that. Let's root 4 each. Might need to pull that down just a tad and get our flower coming right out of each. Let's root 4 each other. So I'm going to do Command Copy, Command V one last time. And I'll double click into the text box. It's kind of off the artboard here, so we can't see it, but we're going to write other. And now we've got let's root 4 each other. And we'll just move our flower around a little bit. It's got like kind of a couple stems coming out there. So this one works. All right, so here's our design. We've got let's root 4 each other, each coming out of the flowers, really capturing kind of that design style that seems to be working well in the grandma niche. Of course, our flowers have nothing to do with the birth months or anything like that, but we're kind of pulling these, 3 ideas together. The wildflowers, the let's root for each other, and the words coming out of the stems. Now, all we need to do is download our image, and you'll have to have the paid version of Kittl. You can play with Kittl for free, but you'll have to have the paid version of Kittl to download this with a transparent background, which is what you'll need. Otherwise, you'll have that white square behind your image when you go to mock it up. So I'm going to make sure right here that I click Remove Background. I'm going to download that, and then I'll be able to go grab that image and put it on my mock-up photo so that we can mock it up and put it in our shop. For the sake of time, I am going to show you a couple of other designs that I put together without taking you through the whole process. I'll also show you the market research / listings that I used as inspiration to help me make something new and valuable while still basing my decisions on what the market is saying. But real quick, I wanted to show you this cool feature that Kittl has. I just selected my entire artboard and I was able to scoot it over to the side. I'm hitting this icon here in the top left, which is allowing me to create a new artboard right here in this project. And I can just kind of look at if I don't remember off the top of my head exactly what the height and width are, I can go grab it right here. I can, look at my first artboard, see what it was by clicking on it, and then click on the second artboard I just created and put those same, put it that same width and height in. And now I can create all of my designs right here inside the same projects. So you know where the market research came for this one, the one we just put together from the grandma niche. The next one I put together, I removed the 2 letters O, the 2 O's in the word root, and replaced them with an onion, and I think that's beet. So we put those in place of the O's. I see this done in many niches and many bestsellers across many niches here. I'll throw one up on the screen for you, but let's root for each other, just removing 2 of the letters. Next, I did the words all justified over to the left, each line a different color. Let's root for each other. My hope there is that they get the word root is in place of those roots. This is something I try. Maybe I'm missing the mark, maybe not. We'd have to see what the market says. But I got this from a lot of just different designs. This idea kind of was born from a lot of different designs that have the left justified with the different colors there. Here I just went with another pun. You've got the beat, another kind of positive pun, and puns do so well on shirts. So many bestsellers with puns. And this look here where flowers are kind of blooming out of the word, we can use, lose the word let's and have the flowers blooming out of the word root. Go ahead and change the, every other color of the letters in root like they did here in mama. And kind of maybe in a nice cursive or something, something legible though. You want to make sure that people can read it. Don't get too fancy or too creative with this. The rest of the phrase, root for each other. Let's take a vote. Let me know which one is your favorite design down in the comments below. And I will let our community here know which one wins in the next video. And in the next video, I'll also let you know what my favorite design was and which one I felt was the stickiest noodle of them all. While you're down there to send that comment over, go ahead and boop the like button if you did find value from this video and you feel like it might help you be inspired to stand out in the market, but still be rooted in that market research when you sit down and do your next designing session. And subscribe if you haven't already if you're interested in the video that we'll be putting out next week, which is going to be kind of a extension of this video, because I'm going to show you how I would take a collection that I've been working on and put them all together in one group listing. This is a strategy that has done well for me, but I know that group listings can be a little scary and sometimes you're not sure exactly how to go about those. If you do want to learn more about that, make sure you subscribe and turn your notifications on so that you're notified when that video comes out. And I'll take a second to invite you to come hang out with us every Wednesday morning at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I release a video and I'm always premiering it, which means I'm there in the chat and there's a live chat. We can talk, you can ask questions if you need to. I happen to be filming this video on a Wednesday, and I just released today, the video that went out was a video about blankets, where you can fulfill them, and 3 niches that are high demand, so lots of people coming to Etsy to search for those niches, plus the product blanket, but low competition, relatively speaking. There aren't a lot of sellers selling in those specific blanket niches. I'll leave that video linked down below if that sounds like something you're interested in. But I did have the pleasure of starting my morning off in such a great way because of the people that I got to chat with in that chat. So we would love to have you join us every Wednesday at 11 a.m. Let's keep talking about how to add value to the market, arguably one of the most important things you can learn how to do during your Etsy journey. So you want to click on the video that's going to pop up for you next, but of course, not until after that tip from Tucker. Tucker, take it away.